Okay, this is the first official episode of Decolonizing the Classics. I recorded twice with Mike today. Neither worked. The first one, we clicked record and then we were still talking on our phones and just assumed that Zoom would pick up our audio and video even though we're talking on the phones. And when we turned the Bluetooth off, we realized nothing had been recorded. Uh, and then the second time, something with the audio. So Edith's here. This is my wife from the
Hello.
Philippines. Um, I should probably, you know how, so there is this Roman named Cato who ended every speech by saying, Carthago delinda est, Carthage must be destroyed. I think I need to say something like that with respect to Israel. Like the beginning and end. I want to outdo Cato. Beginning and ending of every video, I say Israel
Oh,
must be destroyed. The only problem with that is Israel has no legitimacy. So people like to say Zionist or they just like to say Jews or something. So we'll work on that. But for right now, Israel must be destroyed. Um, yeah, and on that topic, no, everything in Israel is a military target. They're settler colonists. Here's what an ordinary civilian looks like. Not me. I'm a descendant of English invaders. Um, Tell us about your mother, Ida. Has she invaded? What's her name first? Let's start off with that.
all right. My mother's name is Soledad.
Okay, and how many countries has Soledad invaded?
Well, no, she never invaded any country, but she invaded my dad's privacy. Teasing.
Okay, um, that's okay. You can do that. What you can't do is invade and genocide. So has did she did okay? Did she invade Ronaldo's room and try to genocide Ronaldo? Let's say that. Did she ethnically cleanse your household?
Yeah, she does.
Okay. Okay, the answer is no. You're confusing people. Look, you have to be careful with Americans. Like you can tell them anything and they'll believe it. So
Okay.
let's give the correct answer, please. How many countries has Soledad invaded as a native Bicolano, a native person from a real native community? In other words, she's not Spanish or American. How many countries has she
None.
invaded?
She doesn't. She did not
Okay,
invade any country.
okay. So no genocides, no ethnic cleansing. Okay,
No.
That's an innocent person,
True.
right?
That's
Okay.
exactly true.
Okay, so if you're in a settler colony and you have weapons and you're in somebody else's home, that makes you an invader. Let me ask you this question: did the Bicolanos invade Bicol, or were they already there?
Well, it's already been, there
You're
ever
there,
since.
so
Yeah.
that so it's like the Spanish were always invaders, right? I mean, no Spaniard could claim I've been here before the Bicolanos. No Spain.
No,
Yeah.
they can't do that. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, I think that's enough. Israel must be destroyed for now. What's the context of this video? So Mike and I have been reading Ammianus. Ammianus is a Greek who wrote his history in Latin, so he is a real sycophant. What's the term, Bessie? Suck up. He's deep in the administration of the late Roman Empire when it was declining. I mean, just very few Greeks would write in Latin. You know, that's a real sign that this guy's really trying to make a statement about his allegiance. He was a pagan. Um, my wife Ida is Catholic. She's a member of an ancient Roman cult. That's kind of like Judaism. It's kind of like lasted too long.
Oh yeah.
Oh, you agreed?
Well, well, I mean, with in terms of like the religion itself, it lasted really long.
Yeah. Um, it's just the. I mean, I think the West co-opted Judaism. That's clear, with Israel. And the West co opted Christianity. It's just that they couldn't co opt Islam. Islam was native Semitic and, yeah, just couldn't. I mean, the Quran. was supervised by the prophet himself. There's just no way that they could
Hmm.
adjust the text or anything. You know what I mean? Like, whereas with the New Testament, it was written way after Jesus was.
Yeah.
Yeah, so okay, um, I'm probably going to call this Constantius's invasion of historic Iran to contextualize it. So in my view, whenever the West begins to peak in its power, it invades the East. The East, of course, is a construct. The East is China, India, Iran, very diverse cultures. Um, so maybe Eastern is an Orientalist term to use, but I just mean they seem to attack and invade what we call West Asia. That's better. Whenever the West peaks in power, Alexander, Rome, there was a long period of weakness. The Crusades, yeah, that didn't get as far as Israel did. And then now, from 500 to modern times, the West has peaked in power, and then they've invaded West Asia again. And what Ammianus does, we'll get to some details here. What Ammianus does is that he tries to frame everything kind of like Al Jazeera and CNN do. You know, when they talk about Trump as having negotiations and he could get impatient and he could do something. No, you're just legitimizing a thug. Empires are thugs that bully people and then attack them. All Iran is doing now is trying to get out of having to kill invaders right now. Iran does not want the war, and they're trying to get out of this diplomatically, while the U.S., I think this should be stated. Uh, Ida, have you heard in the news why the Americans want Iran? Why they want to get them?
No, tell me more about it, because I mean, I just wanted to know, like, in your perspective. I mean, I rarely see, I rarely watch. You're more
Yeah.
of like watching the news, so tell me more about it.
Well, the nukes. Have you heard?
Nah.
Okay. The Iranians don't have a nuke, and the Americans keep saying they want to build a nuclear missile. But the Iranians are pretty clear it's a moral decision to not build one. And I think the Americans know that. They know they don't have a nuke. They know they don't want a nuke. But they want to totally disarm Iran and weaken Iran because Iran supports the rebels. Iran is behind the Palestinians, the Hezbollah, all of them. Iran is the chief member of the Axis of Resistance. Even if the Palestinians are the bravest members of the Axis of Resistance, Iran is the biggest member of the Axis of Resistance. 90 million people.
Oh,
Yeah, so they want to destroy Iran. Iran is Persia. It's just that
yeah.
historic Iran is Persia, and the Iranians used to have an empire. Now they don't. It says so in the Quran. Like in the Quran, it says, "Don't be an aggressor." So they're very. They follow the Quran strictly. You know that, don't you? About the Islamic Republic. That's their thing.
Yeah, I mean, with the Quran, having Quran as their sacred
Hmm.
scripture.
Yeah, how strictly do the? I'll be right back. How to tell the audience about the Philippines? The Philippines is it's occupied clearly. Not the place to go into that now, but do the Filipinos follow Christianity in a way that would respect the religion of Christianity? Do you think that Filipinos are are Christians are good Christians? What do you think of that?
Oh, well, that's a good question, though. Well, it feels like, how can I explain? I can only speak you know, for myself, for my family, and even for my family. There's really a difference. So, like, say for example, let me give you an example. So one family of mine or one relative of mine would be more on not going to the church, but more on, doing the good deeds. But there's also another one who would want to go to church every Sunday,
Yeah.
but on the act itself, like doing good deeds, it's different.
Okay, I think you're taking some stuff for granted, and you may not notice it because you're not an outsider to the Bicolano community. I'm an outsider, so I just don't see in the Philippines a lot of people, at least at the village level. I mean, at the village level, I don't see a lot of Filipinos just having to remind people all the time that they're Christians. Like it's not a political thing. It's not a fad. It's taken seriously, and in your community, it seems like somehow Christianity's been modified to suit the village life of the native Bicolanos. Meaning, I can go to your compound, as you call it in English. There's not even a word for it, and I don't have to fear someone stabbing me in the back, cheating me, or lying to me. Whereas there's people over here, many pseudo Christians that are fascists, that are warmongers, that are crazy, that are violent, or just liars, cheats, and thieves. I didn't see that in the Bicolano community.
Oh, thank you for that. I mean, that's something, you know, you
Yes.
seeing being like, I mean, being from a different country, being an outsider, as they say.
Yeah. Okay. Now this. Let's get to the invasion of Persia here. This was 360 CE. Um, it seems like the Iranians saved the Limigantes. There was a war on the Danube, and the Romans at this time period just had to shift focus to the main threat to their parasitic empire, which was Persia. He invades, and already you kind of see the Romans projecting here. Do you post Alex a flood? You know, do you find this a little suspicious when he says he basically says that the king of Persia was trying by deceits and threats and kinds of stratagems to get the Armenian king to join the Roman side. Um, or excuse me, he was accusing the king of Persia of trying to get the Armenians to join Persia. It just seems like he's leaving out some stuff. What I mean is that's what the Romans would do. The
Like what
Romans would.
you mean living the truth? Or what kind of stuff are you talking about?
I mean, the Romans would try to bribe people.
Okay.
He's not mentioning that. He's just saying the
Yeah.
Persians are trying to bribe people and threaten people. Well, the Romans did that all the time. So already he's trying to slander Persia. Does that make sense? He's accusing the Persians of doing
Yes.
something his side does, the Roman side.
Okay, I got it.
Yeah. And okay, moving on to three. Um, okay, yeah, in section three. So here's some. Let's talk again about the Philippines. Okay, I'm still learning how to do this studio here.
Oh, it's good. I mean, while we're talking, try to do whatever the most you can, like with regards to editing or doing stuff.
Yeah. Okay. So the so this Arsaces, king of Armenia, he decides to stay loyal to the Romans, and you would think, okay, well, it seems like the Armenians are pretty. They believe in Rome. They're loyal to the empire. It's like loyal Armenians, and it's like it's just the king. I mean, who knows what the commoners think? They never get into the histories. This is reminds me of the Philippines. Didn't you have like a flood project?
Yeah,
That was
flood control project. I don't know if you've heard about it.
well. Didn't your elites, your pro-American elites, didn't they steal some money? Isn't that the idea? If there's a project, the officials are going to steal some money, and the project may not even get completed.
Yeah, and sometimes it's like, yeah, that's exactly correct. That's what happened. So there's always a project, even for roads.
Mhm. Okay. Yeah, and so here I think that the Armenians are left out of the picture. Okay, that was actually. Let me move this wide over. Okay, that's what was going on. This is taking so many times to get right. That's all
Oh, you're good.
Okay. Yeah, there was another section where he was calling Iraq Mesopotamia. I learned Mesopotamia is not what the locals called their own territory, but
So
I
what
don't
is
know.
exactly Mesopotamia?
It's Iraq, modern Iraq.
Okay.
That's kind of a fiction too. The British drew lines and made it up, but the region, the civilization is ancient. But they did not call it Iraq or Mesopotamia. I'll have to check again.
Can I just share this one? This is just
Yes,
I mean, this is not being this you won't put this in, right?
spit it out. Let's hear it. You're
Yeah, well,
killing time here.
you better be
Airtime.
excited. There's
We
an
don't.
Iraqi
We don't.
food
Okay.
being being. What do you
Being
call
what?
this? I mean, there's something in here in our area selling
In in our area.
Iraqi food. Yeah.
Okay, let's get some tomorrow. Okay.
Nah.
No. Okay. Thanks for adding that in. Okay, let's. I don't know why you talked about that, but okay, let's
I'm
get some.
teasing,
No,
I'm teasing,
no.
I'm
Okay, let's.
teasing.
Okay, people are gonna get irritated if we stay too long on the Iraqi food. Okay, let's get to five. Okay, this is another one. I'm at section five. Ida can't see what I'm reading, but so the Persians attacked and captured a town called Amida. This is the decline of the empire. So basically, the empire steals money in the same way that the United States steals money from the Philippines. The idea is that when foreign powers, other nations, other free peoples, or a rival empire attacks your empire, you should be able to defend it. After all, you're fleecing these people, you're stealing money into the form of tribute. The least you can do is garrison the town and defend it. So Amida was a tough fight, but the town was captured by the Persians. And they're mentioning a man here named Ursulus, the treasurer. And I don't know if he's a quartermaster in the Roman army or just a local who's changed his name to Ursulus, a Latin name. Tacitus says that the. Are you awake?
Yeah.
You were okay. Listen, there's a
It's not
Roman.
on you.
Okay, there was a Roman historian named Tacitus who said that. How did he put it? He said when I don't even know if he used the term barbarians, but if he did, he didn't mean it as an insult. It's
Okay.
just you don't decolonize in one day. He said the Britons. He may have just called them what they wanted to be called. He said when the Britons put on a Roman toga, they are signifying their slavery to Rome. What he meant was Britain had been conquered, and then the people who were assimilating, surrendering their native culture and their native language and dress and customs to advertise that they were Roman were basically servants, slaves with little dignity. And so that you just see this a lot when you hear a Latin name or see somebody in a toga. I mean, who knows what that means? In this time period, people didn't have IDs or passports. You were who you looked like. You know, you would advertise who you were by your clothes and your name. Does that make sense? Kind of like when
Yeah.
the Spanish wanted Filipinos to start using Spanish names, something like that, and Spanish clothes. You know, one of your heroes. Who was the guy that was the writer? He's wearing
Jose
Western clothes.
Rizal, our national hero.
Yeah, and wasn't he influenced by Spanish ways to a
Yeah, he's
degree to be
actually a
wearing?
Spanish
Yeah,
scholar.
yeah.
He went to
He was.
Spain to study with along with
Okay.
other
Yeah,
Philippine scholars.
yeah. See, that's what happened. That's what happened in all empires. They want the empire wants to train an administration that is local, uh, but also loyal to the empire.
Oh well, just to tell you, with Rizal getting, I mean, with Rizal having that kind of education, that had empowered him to write, the stuff that he sees, the truth.
That's the paradox, yeah, because sometimes did that happen with Ho Chi Minh too. He went to France to get educated, then comes back and he's actually more revolutionary than ever before.
Yeah.
Arminius, he served in the Roman army, then later attacks the Romans. It's like there comes a time when you start to get the imperial propaganda, and I don't know what happened to these guys. Like, um, what's his name again?
Oh, sorry, son.
Yeah, he must
Mm.
have seen how fake and empty and crappy the Spanish Empire really was. It wasn't the
He had
right
seen
way.
what the system, like
Yeah,
their
he had seen it,
plans, yeah.
and he
Their
rebelled against the
agenda.
system, their
I think
agenda. Yeah,
agenda is the right term.
yeah, and he did not sell out. So, anyways, this Ursulus guy here. Let's see what I'll highlight it. This is the empire here. Think about this, Ida. This guy, whether he's from the army or from the town itself of Amida, he says, "Behold the courage with which cities are defended by our soldiers." He means Romans. He's being sarcastic too. He says, "Men for whose pay the whole wealth of the empire is exhausted." See, this is kind of true with every empire. Eventually, the citizens just fucking hate their military. They just get tired of hearing it. It's like, yeah, support the troops, and it's like, oh, shut up, give me my money back. And what happens here? This is interesting. The Roman army, the soldiers get offended and just kill him.
Oh no.
Yeah, there's so much for free speech. So much for that. I mean, I in
Bro.
America, yeah, in America they talk about the free speech all the time. It's just it's nothing altruistic. It doesn't mean a lot. It's a reflection of how oppressive Western European governments are. You have to keep them in check, and that one's origins, free speech, that whole struggle for it in the West and in the Anglophone world comes from England and the defeat of the monarchy there. The English had a civil war in which the king lost, and that political development just extended to America. And with the colonies, the oligarchy here just didn't have the. They knew that they already had the power. They just knew that they didn't have enough power to coerce every single settler spread out across the frontier. So that's just a reflection of reality already. That political English development was moving away from a powerful autocratic government, but then it reached limitations. England never really had a revolution, so it couldn't totally overthrow the king and the colonies. The oligarchy, the slave owning elite, was never overthrown. It's still here today. Anyways, that was a bit of a tangent. Getting back to Persia, because I know Ida's getting ready to fall asleep. I can tell. Okay, so and this was mainly just a test, anyways. And where
Yeah.
I'm exhausted after recording this for the third time because of our blunders. But getting to the town of Bezabde,
Mhm.
this was taken by the Persians and defended. This is in Turkey, by the way. This is another
Oh.
point. It's worth asking, since the Persia is right next to Anatolia and right next to Armenia. What business does a Roman have here? See, you know what I mean? I mean, the Romans are trying to take this town. You're not native here. And they just take it for granted. If you listen to what happens when the Romans go up to the town, they just ask the townspeople, you can become the subjects of Rome or we're going to kill you. That's the Romans taking that for granted. In
Oh,
which case,
oh
the
no.
natives, yeah, the natives resisted though. This is a victory here.
Mm.
Um, the Romans attack the town and they don't capture it on the first assault. A, he says here, yeah, he even uses, yeah, he and if you've seen a,
Ew.
okay, okay, you can sleep. It's not a big deal. I'll take it home. We're gonna run out of time anyways because Zoom. I don't want to pay Zoom for more
Yeah.
time. Not
But I
during the
want you to
genocide.
finish it. Like,
Okay. So, anyways, there's a truce, and uh, that was agreed upon probably to collect the dead so that they could be properly buried.
Huh? What do you mean? Tell me more about it.
Well, the Romans attacked the city and they weren't able to capture it, so it was a stalemate. Both sides want to collect the dead to properly bury them. Does that make sense?
I mean, why do they want the body? Just to make sure that that one is dead or what?
Basically, if somebody has died, you don't just want to leave your comrade corpse lying on the ground to be eaten by dogs. You want to bury it, don't you?
Of course, buried
Okay,
together.
that's
Proper
that's
burial.
that's what the truce was for. But the way he says it was agreed. No, the Romans attacked and they were defeated, so they need to pause and bury the dead.
Okay.
Okay, it's okay. You're tired. That's okay. Me too. That's why I've got the coffee to keep me awake. You want some too?
No, I'm
Okay,
all
let's finish
good.
this. Okay, and then let's keep going down here. Okay, yeah, I was reading this with Mike, and I just started to get disturbing vibes when he brought up the vast battering ram, and it just seemed kind of rapey. The language here, phallic, like the Romans were trying to rape the town with the
Okay.
battering ram, and it doesn't work. The natives destroy it. He does say at one point, I don't know, and I mean, metaphorically, you can see empire as rape, but that one with the battering ram was, I don't know, it's just disturbing the way Ammianus writes. And when he writes about massacres, he writes it as if it's like a battle, which is disturbing. It's just disturbing how an imperialist thinks. Anyways, he said this when the ram was brought up. He said it cowed the spirits of the besieged so that they were almost on the point of surrendering when they again plucked up courage and prepared means for resisting this engine. Okay, who knows when Zoom's going to knock us off? Maybe this is enough for now. It's and he goes on about the fighting, almost too much on the fighting. Um, it's almost like modern Hollywood films that focus on the action and you want to get to something deeper. It's like it's so much fighting, so much action that it's Ida knows Filipino cinema, and she knows that less is more. Sometimes when you overdo something, you actually don't do it justice. When you've got a good theme or a good actor, maybe don't have him on the screen too much. Don't belabor a point too much. Don't have too much of something. This is
Exactly.
like,
Like
yeah,
it's hard to determine where is really the climax of this.
right, right. If your nerves are just if your adrenaline is constantly is going to be maxed out, then you just get exhausted. Okay, let's get to the end here. Before I need to pay attention when I start these because Zoom cut off mic and I just said, it's okay, I'm tired. Let's let it go.
Let's try it again. I mean, tell Mike that let's try again.
No, I'm not even going to tell Mike that we recorded twice and it didn't pick up the audio. I'm just going to say something happened to it for some reason it wouldn't work, but we did good. We did very good. Something's wrong with it though. I can't share it. Only I can see it.
It's only for me, for my eyes only. For
Yeah,
our eyes only.
yeah. Okay. Anyways, the good news is that Constantius did not capture this town. The Persians held it. Okay, and there's just the way he talks. You can tell when Ammianus is he's an imperialist. By the way, every imperialist is factional and or political. He likes Julian, the pagan, uh, but hates Constantius and won't ever say anything good about him. They're all imperialists. It's like the Republicans and Democrats arguing over nothing. So, anyways, I'll end this. He goes back to unwelcome Syria. It's That's an interesting phrase. Maybe it's unwelcome to you because you're an invader, but who knows? I think there's people here chafing under Roman rule at this time in history. Okay, so yeah, Constantius himself, while warring with the Persians, was always attended by adverse fortune. No, it's just that the Persians were resisting and resisting effectively. You didn't win. See, they can't even acknowledge a worthy enemy. And when you're declining, when your empire is going down, it's really hard for them to acknowledge the other side's virtues because they're feeling afraid. They're going to lose this territory. See, the Israelis do that because they lie about everything. Okay, on which account he hoped to at least gain some victories by means of his generals. Yeah, we're done. Next time, I think Mike and I will try to go
Yeah.
back and revisit the Limigantes. That was like reading about the Palestinians.
Oh,
It's
good.
yeah, the Palestinians have helped me understand the classics finally. With their help, I actually understand how to read Roman history. We'll go back and see what the Romans are distorting and lying about and leaving out. And okay, bye for now.
Bye.